Okay, we're gonna finish the June garden tour, so I've got this all on video. This is the driveway. Here are my hot pepper plants. I have got peppers on here. I don't know if you can see them or not. Baby cayenne peppers. Look at this dude over here. It's called a fish pepper. I don't know if you can see in the sunlight, but it's got like this really pretty variegated leaves. And the peppers themselves, you can't really tell, are variegated. They're really pretty. This one's called Tequila Sunrise. And right here I've got some paprika peppers. I'm gonna try making my own paprika spice this year, if I get enough. And a big Polish tomato. Over here's a couple more of my heirlooms. They're getting pretty tall back there. And I've got beans going up behind them there. Just with some pollinators and a little bit of leftover lettuce and stuff down in here. I got blueberry plants tucked in here just for the year. I don't really know where they're gonna go, but for now they're gonna stay there. All right, and then we're gonna go past the grill. Got a couple random pots here, some parsley, some chard, more parsley, some random leftover watermelon plants. They're individual watermelons. Yeah, random potatoes. And down this wall right here, it's my grow bag collection. I have got these pedigree melons that are growing up really nice. I've got some more potatoes. These are all fingerlings. And then I have some Blohilda purple beans that are starting to grow up the talus right there. Oh, look, it's our first Cosmo. Isn't she pretty? Oh. And then we have the rest of the driveway side here. This was all dead space before we used it. In here I've got some cabbage. Got these cranberry beans growing up, just a couple of them. They were in a seed swap I did, so those are new. These are all my Parisian cucumbers, Parisian pickling cucumbers. They're supposed to be like a gherkin style, so you can can them whole. I picked up this really pretty, I don't know what it is, during one of my greenhouse things. Look how pretty purple that is. Somebody tell me what that is. And then here on the wall, on the top in these grow bags, these are all my cherry tomatoes. And then a lot of my succulents grow in here with some flowers. These are doing pretty good. They have got baby tomatoes on them. Look at you. This one over here kind of got some kind of wilty thing going on with it. It has a couple tomatoes on it, so I did top it. I'm hoping that maybe a sucker will grow out and continue growing, but if not, I just didn't want it to spread to my other ones. Oh, look at this guy down here. You see him? He's so pretty. These are, in this next bed, my 4th of July tomatoes. These are my husband's favorite. They are doing really well. They get about medium sized. Behind them, you're gonna see there's rows of garlic back there. That's gonna come out in a couple weeks. It's all starting to bend over from what I hear. That's the first sign. This is my first year doing garlic. I'm waiting for them to go a little bit more brown. This crazy bed is my spring garden that won't die. Looks insane, doesn't it? I've got some really nice cabbage hiding in here. These are all kale. I'm gonna start feeding some of that kale to the chickens probably. And these back here are Brussels sprouts, which I've never grown. You can see in there, in those little armpits, that's the Brussels sprout. Let's see if I got bigger ones over here. Aren't those cute? Some sunflowers back there. Mason likes to grow the mammoth sunflowers here and see how high up the house we can get them to go. I've got some basil tucked in here. This is African basil. This is my first year for it. It does not smell like regular basil. A couple more cabbages down here. And let's go around the front of the house. Okay. These are my baskets I made up front. I will not buy geraniums from plugs again. They just took too long to get going. The ones I got from the greenhouse are much better, and they were only like $1 more. So got some cosmos that I bought. Maybe some kale that'll come out. Yeah, look up here. These are the adrenums that I bought, and they were $1 more than the plugs. So we'll be sticking with the greenhouse ones. Over here in front of the house, just got some random flowers up in my flower basket. I keep trying to put random things in here thinking they're going to work great. I'm just going to buy impatiens next year and do a whole flat of impatiens. They get really pretty and really colorful. Back in the corner, I have got 2 Amish paste tomatoes back there. And then back here, I have got some hardy geraniums, or hardy gladiolas. Some nasturtium back there. You can see those guys. I planted a bean here, and I don't know what kind it is. But obviously, I've got a couple of them coming up. A volunteer sunflower. And then these big plants are all more cucumbers. These ones are full-size cucumbers. They are called Silver Slicer. They're from Hudson Valley Seeds. And I don't know if we have any or not. I don't think so. Looks like the plants are getting established still. Oh, there's a little baby one down here. There you go. Little baby. Can you see him? There you go. Then I got a clematis back here that's new this year. I'm just trying to get it established on this trellis. And these are all more garlic. Right there, I've got 2 more Amish paste tomatoes. Kind of trying out different paste tomatoes this year to see which ones I like. I always use San Marzanos so far. I'm not convinced there's other ones. I've got all these cabbages. Look how pretty this guy is. They're all just in my front yard. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, the animals are going to eat them. And while they have gotten nibbles, look at you. They're still super pretty, and if they make heads, fantastic. And if they don't, that is okay. So those are those 2 Amish paste tomatoes. I need to tie them up. They're falling over. And that takes us around to the other side of the house. These are purple peas. Oh, I love that flower. They're sweet magnolia. They're so pretty. I think Ava's going to be snacking on those tonight. Got a pot of yarrow here. Yarrow can get monstrously huge, and I'm limited on space, so I've got it in a pot. I could probably split that up and get more, but for this year, it's going to stay there. I've got some catmint in here and some calendula. This little guy's alyssum. There's thyme back here. Oop. Chive and catmint in that bucket. And this back row is all more tomatoes. These are all paste type. These ones right here with the skinnier leaves like this, these are called Opelka. They're Polish heirloom. These 2 are that. I'm not super impressed. I was hoping I'd be more impressed. They don't look like they're doing super great. They're kind of wilty. The ones next to them look so much better. These guys are San Marzanos. They've got tomatoes on them. Look how thick those stems are. I don't know if you can really tell. Nice thick stems. They're a little bit taller. They're just more upright. So far, unless something changes, I think next year I'll stick with San Marzanos in my Great American Paste Tomato test. There's some kind of flower from Kay. It's got a yellow flower on it. I do not know its actual name. And this is my bean tower, of which I have forgotten what kind of bean it is. So we'll find out later. Back here in the corner, those tomatoes. I've got some bee balm. We planted some salvia, and I grew some dianthus. This pretty little dude right here is who knows what. I actually really don't know. I think it's a snapdragon. And then this is my hibiscus coming back finally. This took forever. I thought for sure it was dead. I just had those little sticks, but it's coming back nicely. And then in here, I've got some more dianthus, and these are coreopsis. And this is the best perennial that I have for blooming. I swear to God, look at the little bee on it. This little bee is green. Isn't he cool? I have hundreds of these everywhere. They're a solitary bee. Isn't that, look how many buds are on that. So that actually is 2 plants. I bought the first one at the nursery, and the second one I did from seed from the first one. It will bloom like this from now until frost. Totally, it's just fantastic. Okay, I've got some tulip stems I'm still leaving to leave them alone. A lot of succulents in here, making babies. I might sell these babies. I'm thinking about it. I got a lot of them. I planted some lobelia this weekend in this front just for color. I love lobelia, and I kill it quick. So I put a bunch of them in different spots. Sorry, I'm being attacked by a hornet. In different spots. Isn't that pretty? This is sweet woodruff. It's done flowering. My lilies are up there. I think that's called Stella d'Oro. Got some oregano and thyme back there. Phlox, it's not blooming yet. Oh, my snapdragon's starting to get ready to bloom. Sage. I've got an established lavender right there, and I got 2 smaller ones in there. Got some bee balm. My daisies are getting ready to open. There's some black-eyed Susan down there not open. And then this borage is new. I grew it from seed. It's monstrous. I heard it's really good for pollinators. We'll see. I'll let you know. Behind it is some blooming mustard, and there is spearmint in there. It's taken a while to get going. Some columbine and salvia. In this pot, this is where my poor delphinium was. It did not make it. It was rained out. Oops, sorry. So I planted just some annual things in here. So I've got some salvia. This one's called Victorian Blue. Isn't that pretty? Got some begonias, some calendula, and some snapdragons. And I'm just going to leave those there. There's some calendula. Here is the rest of that really pretty lobelia. Wild geranium. My lupins that have all gone to seed. I'm saving all these seed pods as long as I can. Oh, look, I got another one blooming. Isn't she pretty? Maybe I should cut these seed pods off so they start blooming again. To be decided. And then over here by the air conditioner, I'm working the space in with perennial herbs. So this will turn into just an herb garden right here. I got thyme I started from seed this year. Here's some calendula. Lemon verbena that I had to buy from the store. These are my Polish sunflowers. They're called Fantasia. I've got some snapdragons back there and some painted daisies. That guy's gonna bloom. Got some zinnia in here. I got some cilantro turned into coriander. I do have a bean right here. I'm trying to get a bean to grow up this thing. I'm bad at that. A little kale I tucked in. There's zinnia. And this crazy oregano bush. That's on year 2. That's a chamomile plant that I just trimmed up, and some sweet marjoram. And these guys are all more garlic in front. And then down here is some sweet alyssum. Back here, I'm trying to grow beans up here. They're not really sure they want to. We'll see. They get a little bit of shade during the morning. We'll see how they go. Same thing here. I've got some pollinator stuff. It looks like I got some lemon balm that snuck in there. It's supposed to be butterfly weed. There's some beans that I will trellis up that right there. Snapdragons, milkweed, some dill, little zinnia. That milkweed's starting to flower. Some more dill. Has a dill flower. You see that? Catnip. And then back in the corner here, I've got some more beans. I'm going to try and get up that trellis right there. Over here in the corner, I've got ranunculus in these 2 buckets. They're bulbs I purchased as an impulse and planted late, so I have no idea what they're going to do. We'll just find out. In the back here, I have got a Kajari melon. I planted more seeds. I don't know if they're going to come up or not, but I've got one that's starting. This is Tithonia, or Mexican sunflower. It gets really red and bushy, and it's got a bean in there, which I'm going to grow up the wall. This is my other hibiscus. And look at this one. It's just teeny, teeny, tiny. So I did trim some of the bushes around it to give it some more sun. We'll see how that goes. Got some phlox in here. That's that painted daisy, which is perennial. It's the first year I grew them from seed. Some snapdragons. Calendula. This one's really pretty. Oh, I hope that bee was on camera. He was cute. This is Barry's Crazy Cherry Tomato. And apparently I planted a bean there too. I went really crazy with the beans. I'm not really sure what happened here. We've got alpine strawberries in buckets. These are Ava's. Her cousin Lily gave them to her. And she eats them pretty regularly. A little kale. And then I've got a whole bunch of coneflower. Now this wall will turn into my sunflower wall. It gets really, really, really crazy. But the first thing I ever had here was coneflower. I planted 2, and now there's about 40. They will all be really pretty purple. I don't think any of them are really, this is probably the closest one so far. But they get about that tall. They stay about that tall. This is probably the tallest one I got down here. This guy right here. Oh, he looks good. So you can see this way they filled in all the way down there. In between all of them, and on this side, I planted sunflowers of the kind which I forget right now. And they're getting pretty tall. Last year they fell over and I had to constantly tie them. They kept breaking the string. So this year I bought this twine thing. It's a netting. I hooked it over the top. It doesn't look the awesomest right now, but it's not super ugly. And a month from now, these sunflowers will be over top of it and you won't even see them at all. Underneath here, I've got zinnia growing. Last year they didn't grow very well because there was way too much shade from the sunflowers. So this year I've got these sunflowers already tied up, as you can tell, and I'm going to trim the bottom leaves and try and get a little bit more sun to them. Okay, 2 more things outside here. This is Mason's garden. He has got these beans growing, of which, again, we have no idea what. And then these are his watermelon. He did sugar baby bush. And this one's probably the biggest one. It's doing really good. I don't know if I'm going to give it a trellis or just let it meander over the lawn. And then look at these flowers. These are totally me. Mason doesn't care about flowers this year. Aren't those pretty? They are called I wish I could get you to. They're a vanilla marigold. They got these giant big heads on them, and they're super pale yellow. They're just gorgeous. So I added them to the family garden in the front here. They're looking a little rough because it's really hot. They'll bounce back just fine. Because I had so many volunteer potatoes. Volunteer potato, volunteer potato. So just to fill in the front, in the spaces, I put some of these marigolds, kind of carried them across the front. The garden is looking better. I was a little afraid. Here's the family garden. See it? My transplants were getting a little shell-shocked. I'll show you here. This row right here with the trellis is all melons. So these are, I think, Queen Anne cantaloupe. Here's my sugar babies. Mason's almost look better. I've got 2 more sugar baby watermelons. They're supposed to be bush type, so I don't know how big they're going to get. We'll see. And these are my Minnesota midget melons, which are doing fantastic. I just love them. I got a whole bunch of volunteer marigolds in here. Behind them, I did a row of beans, a couple rows of beans. Those are yellow beans, Gold Rush, I think, for Busha, for her soup. And then behind this side is Dragon Tongue. They are a purple speckled bean that you eat fresh. Here in the middle, I have got some zinnias and a whole bunch of Bright Lights chard. Isn't that pretty? Which, let's be honest, I pretty much grew because it was pretty. I don't know if people are going to eat it so well. I do have a recipe to make chard with eggs. We'll see how that goes. Behind this chard, it's going to go all along this stick trellis. I have got 2 plants right here. 1, 2, I lied, I got 3, a little baby one. They are spaghetti squash. And I think I will always grow a spaghetti squash. It reminds me of Brent's grandma, Marion. She always used to give us spaghetti squash because she had so many. Behind that, this middle row of beans, these are bush beans. They are called Tanya's Pink Potted. They are purely for Ava because she wanted pink beans. So we'll see. You eat them fresh, apparently. On this side, I have got, oh, look, there's our first flowers on our potatoes. Here's our potatoes. That's half of them. The other half are on the other side. These are our squashes. These side are not doing well. 1, 2, there's zucchinis or summer squash. These guys are doing okay. This guy's a winter squash. He's doing super good. I am trellising them up, so I'm gonna have to come tie him up. And then I got 5 more on the other side. I'll show you those next. Again, on the inside, I've got a winter squash, which has got all kinds of stuff going on. Oh, look. Do you see him? Right here. There's the rest of our squash. And then carrots and crazy peas that are falling over. They're starting to get brown on the bottom. They're gonna go off pretty soon. 2 more weeks, I think. All right, and there's my work pile. Oh, I forgot I got beets here too. All right, that is the front yard garden video for June 2021.